Hi, Scott Sloan, News Radio 700 WLW. Sometimes I'm guilty of this, too, and I think this is true in talk radio a lot, is we expect people listening to know all the intricacies of what you're talking about. You don't just jump into a topic and think everyone's up to speed. And, I've learned personally in listening, and that's not the case. I'm guilty of it, too. In this case, it comes down to the CBD issue. Yesterday, we were talking about it at great length. And just how screwed up the thing is, where you have a substance that's natural, that provides pain relief for people like myself and others, that's essentially been made illegal, at least according to the Ohio Board of Pharmacy. And so after getting a couple emails and the like, and people lining up with questions about this, I said, I needed maybe a refresher. I've talked about it before and what the difference is between THC, which of course is the psychoactive component and it gets you high in marijuana, but this is from hemp. And it's a perfectly natural substance that doesn't have those psychoactive qualities. And there's receptors in your body specifically designed to take this stuff in. And for a lot of people, and I know some people it doesn't work for, it's like anything, right? You got to find what works for you. But I've found tremendous relief from shoulder pain from using CBD oil. And it's non-addictive, non-habit forming. You don't get high from it, but it's a great natural analgesic that you can take in various forms. And it's something that should be promoted. It shouldn't be something that's discouraged. According to the Ohio Board of Pharmacy, they issued a statement saying all marijuana products, including CBD oil, can only be dispensed in a licensed medical marijuana control program dispensary. So technically, you're in violation of federal and state law here. Now, keep in mind, September 8th, we were supposed to have these dispensaries open, and we're not any closer to having that done because politicians are stupid. Joining me on 700 WLW, a guy who is passionate about this and knows it very well, is ER Beach. ER runs a place out of Kenwood that sells the CBD, or at least sold the CBD anyway. ER, good morning. How are you?
I'm doing great. We actually have 3 locations in Cincinnati, Hemptations, and then a location in Dayton. And we are continuing to sell our CBD products. I couldn't have said or described CBD any better. I'm glad that you kind of put that part of it out there as to why our customers are coming in and buying that. Mm-hmm. And you did mention that we are breaking the state and federal law. We are, in fact, not breaking the federal law.
Okay.
And the reason that we're not breaking the federal law, and this actually started back in 2014 when the Hemp Industries Association sued the DEA because the DEA was trying to make hemp food illegal. At the time, it was all imported, none of it growing here in the United States. All the food, the clothing, everything was basically imported. The DEA was trying to say, well, you have to say 0.0% THC, or it's a marijuana product. Mm-hmm. And we, in the HIA, successfully sued them and said, no, if this comes from industrial hemp, and there are 175 internationally recognized industrial hemp cultivar seeds available around the world. And so, all the food was coming from Canada because they were growing industrial hemp for the grain.
Gotcha.
And so we successfully won that. That being said, the HIA just went back to the DEA and held them in contempt of that decision because they were saying the very thing that the Board of Pharmacy was saying. All CBD comes from marijuana. Marijuana is illegal. You can't have it. That's absolutely not the truth. We're extracting the CBD from industrial hemp. Yeah. It's under the Federal Farm Bill regulations. 2014, the federal government clearly defined what industrial hemp is. Section 7606 of the 2014 Farm Bill clearly defined what industrial hemp is.
Okay, so we're not breaking federal law, but according to the state.
That's correct.
So when I look at it, I say, okay, here's the Board of Pharmacy that carries a lot of weight. Let's face it, they decide what's legal, what's illegal relative to prescriptions, drugs, and the like, saying that all marijuana products, including CBD oil, can only be dispensed in a licensed medical marijuana control program dispensary. What does that mean to you, or what does that mean to someone who wants to buy it?
Well, that doesn't mean anything to me or my customers because, once again, we don't sell marijuana-extracted CBD products. We sell industrial hemp-extracted CBD products. Two totally different things. I call it the tale of two CBDs. Now, the Board of Pharmacy is actually telling us their policy for anyone under their regulation, which is the growers, the processors, the packagers, and the dispensaries in the state of Ohio. That's who they have authority over. They don't actually have any authority over me. They actually visited one of my stores, and it was a very, very interesting interaction because they basically accused us of breaking the law, proved it by their accusations of breaking the law, but they didn't inform the law.
But hemp is not marijuana is the point. They can regulate it for all marijuana products. Hemp is not marijuana. I mean, it is.
That is right.
It's the male version of marijuana, right? You need the male, female plants? Is that how that works?
No. That's kind of a misconception.
Okay.
You can get everything out of, you actually need the female plant to grow for grain. And now what the Board of Pharmacy is actually saying is every product, and we have the largest selection of hemp on the planet, from fiber to food to plastic material to
you can do a lot with it.
Material. Yeah. You can do, supposedly it has 50,000. So anyway, they're implying, their opinion of the law is every single one of those products. So they're implying, by their opinion of the law, that Whole Foods will in fact have to pull every piece of hemp food that they have on their shelf. They're implying, by their opinion of the law, all CBD comes from marijuana, anything that comes from cannabis is marijuana. Therefore, all cannabis products, which is also industrial hemp bred with the THC out, as you discussed, would be illegal.
All right, explain to me, by the way, it's E.R. Beaches with Hemptations, and the state pharmacy board said, well, it's marijuana, you can't get CBD oil. CBD oil is the non-psychoactive component here we're talking about. You don't get high from it. It's not addictive, but it does alleviate a lot of conditions from anxiety, stress for people. For example, I've been taking drops of it for the last couple months, and my shoulder is feeling really, really good as a result of that. So if you suffer from things like osteoarthritis, maybe you got a bad knee, bad back, for a lot of people, not everybody, but for a lot of people, it works really, really, really well. And because it's non-habit forming, non-addictive, it's far better than something like opioids. Well, the pharmacy board says, yeah, guess what? You can't dispense it. It's got to be in a licensed control program dispensary, which of course the state is completely messed up, and we're not any closer to getting to those places. So yeah, well, as soon as we open those, which could be 10 years from now, but for those listening too, and again, kind of dumb it down for people like me, you talk about marijuana, you talk about hemp. Well, what is? Can you give me, without getting too wonky, ER, the difference between a marijuana plant and a hemp plant?
Absolutely. Call me Beach. Most people do.
All right.
In the world, most people know me as Beach. Specifically, the difference is that THC content. Honestly, there is, when you grow for what they call marijuana, okay, that is either cannabis sativa or cannabis indica, depending on what effects you're trying to get for the medical aspect or the personal use aspect, either way. Okay, and that's based on the THC, but also based on CBD. And so when when in states where that's legal, yada, 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 anything with more, basically 0.4% or more THC makes it a marijuana plant. Okay? Industrial hemp, federal regulations say 0.3% or lower. Now, there's also some stipulations where it has to be if it's grown in the United States. And this is what I want to make perfectly clear. I've been selling CBD products for almost 7-8 years now. The United States has only been growing CBD for 4. Okay? Before that, these products were coming through customs. And they're continuing to come through customs. So this CBD oil that the Board of Pharmacy is saying that the DEA is saying is illegal is coming from customs. Half of the CBD products on the market right now come from another country. Wow. And so I find it very hard to believe that would be a marijuana product.
All right. Beach, can you hold on just a second?
Sure.
All right, because some people want to ask you some questions, and they're not quite sure about this, because I've been professing this now for a while. I know Cunningham, even the straightest guy I know, is used the CBD gum, right? And I do the tincture. I do it under my tongue 3 times a day, and it's been fantastic for me. But people have questions about this. I want to know. Can you hang on a second?
Absolutely.
All right, so we've got Beach from Hemptations on. CBD, what's it do? What's going to happen if I take it? And furthermore, why the hell is it illegal? And if you suffer from any pain or other maladies, which I'm going to ask Beach about too, because it's not just pain, it's a whole host of other things. There's specific receptors in your body that the human body was actually designed to digest this stuff. So what the hell's the problem? If we're built, it's like saying, well, we're going to make food illegal. Well, we're built to run it, and our bodies have certain receptors for it. Well, why the hell can't I use it? We'll get to that in about 4 minutes here. Your questions answered. 513-749-7000. Scott Sloan Show, 700 WLW.
JeffWeilerHonda.com.
News is coming up in 7 minutes at 700 WLW. Scott Sloan Show. And we have weather information here next few hours. Going to get a little dicey weather-wise before it finally turns to fall. Actually, weird timing on the last day of summer. We've got that going on. Plus, some breaking news developing. Sadly, now it's like, I don't know, for 4 days in a row right now, we've had another incident. This one is in New York City. A newborn and a couple infants, 5 people in critical condition, a stabbing in a daycare center in New York. We'll have details on that coming up in news in minutes here, 700 WLW. Sloaney and then Jay Nate's here closing it out. A ton of movies out this weekend if you want to check it out. For a while now, we got the Beach on here from Hemptations making headlines this week as the Pharmacy Board of Ohio saying you're not allowed to sell or dispense CBD oil anywhere, although a lot of places are doing it. You can get it in mail and through out-of-state sources and the like. And relative to questions and the like, one of the things I hear about, too, is, Beach, it has to do with, well, if you take it, you're going to test positive in a drug test. Can you use CBD oil to alleviate pain, or we'll get into what it alleviates in a second, but use that and show positive on a drug screen?
It would depend on the milligram of CBD product. Now, I have heard, and again, this is the 2,000 to 3,000 milligram, like, maximum dosage usage may. But I have not seen anyone, I believe there was online not too long ago someone that was implying that they failed a drug test because of that.
Mm-hmm.
And again, I would be interested to see, once again, because there is marijuana-derived CBD products, and so that may be some confusion. And so if it, they may be in another state using a CBD product,
right.
But it's not industrial hemp-derived CBD.
Gotcha. Yeah, one of the things I hear, too, about that is, especially if it's hemp-derived, hemp oil is what they call it, is that if you look at it, it'll tell you how much THC is in it, and most of them have, like, close to zero trace amounts. I guess it's one of those deals, a Beach, where it's like, look at your supplier, see what their testing says, and go with someone who's reputable. That way you know how much is in there. And generally speaking, they test for the psychoactive component, which is THC, not the CBD. So... even though there may be some trace amounts in there as well. As far as things that you use it for, I talk about pain, osteoarthritis, back pain, stuff like that, but people use it for stress, anxiety, a whole host of stuff, right?
That is true. And of course, we're not allowed to give medical advice, but, because CBD...
I'm a doctor.
Yeah, right on. We sell, once again, CBD supplements, but I will tell you, I have emails from parents of autistic kids that once they worked the dosage out, it changed their lives. I have emails from customers that have basically said that for whatever purpose they're seeking relief, and it, mild, from everything from mild pain to anxiety to the much higher, when you do the research, because of how it acts in the human body, and I personally use it for its anti-inflammatory purposes on occasion because I get back flare-up from a four-wheeling accident that I had. And so that's that pain relief you're talking about, which is not really pain relief. I want to make it clear. It acts more, what we're seeing scientifically, it acts more as an anti-inflammatory, which then actually aids. It doesn't cover the pain, which is what opiates do, and all that, those pharmaceuticals, or even over-the-counter pain relievers.
Well, as opposed to like Tylenol, for example, or anything like that, NSAIDs, that there's an issue of liver toxicity there, especially when it comes to acetaminophen, which you don't have with CBD.
This is all natural, and that's like you were saying. Find out who. Make sure it's extracted. Make sure that it's tested not just for THC content, so to speak. There's no pesticides. There's no herbicides. Not that we need to use that on industrial hemp, because most industrial hemp doesn't, but that doesn't mean it's not processed somewhere that may have been used prior.
Right.
So yeah, obviously finding a clean source, but most of the products, if it's just, I didn't lose you, did I?
No, you're good.
Okay. most of the products, should be a clean source, a good source, grown in a state that's, if it comes from the United States. And so, again, if it comes from the United States, then it needs to be grown in one of those legal industrial entities.
And they test them for purity and stuff. So, hey, at 513-749-7000, let me get a quick call in here, and it's Paul in Groesbeck. You're on with Beach from Meditations on the CBD thing. What do you got?
Hey, Scott. You've touted the Miracles CBD. I finally went out and I just had some questions about it. Bought some yesterday.
Okay.
For 30 milliliters, it was $150. Is that a fair price, or is it?
Yeah, Beach, what's the stuff on?
Well, what was the milligram? Is what I need to know. What the milligram was?
Let's see. Of the dosage?
Yeah,
I think it was 30.
No. There should be a milligram, because we sell in the tincture. We sell everything from a 250 to a 1,500 milligram.
Oh, okay. So this was 1,000.
Oh, that's a lot.
Yeah, absolutely. No, that is. I mean, if you go online, honestly, I guarantee if you go online, comparatively speaking, any reputable CBD, and like you said, Scott, you go to 50 to 100 websites online and buy this product. That's another reason why I find it hard to believe they're saying it's a controlled substance. But if you go online, 1,000 milligram, I will guarantee that our prices are comparable. And that's, do your research there, honestly.
Yeah.
If you're listening now, go online and find the average price of what you may or may not be looking for, and then just come in and, I hope that you would shop locally, because I've been doing this for 23 years.
Yeah.
And so, I encourage people to trust us, because I quality control all of our products, whether it's a pair of jeans or a bottle of shampoo. I make sure that it works. And
and 1,000's a little on the high. I mean, you can get it down to
that
like 150 all the way up to, I think, most I've seen is like 1,200. So but you just take fewer drops of it. That's all.
Well, or you're obviously suffering from something that may be a little bit more severe.
Right.
And so that's why you would go to that higher dosage. Yeah. Most people like to come in and start small, but if the customer, and we have a chart that we can look at, because we're not doctors, and we can let the customer decide where they are on this chart, then they can decide whether they need that 250, which is very mild, or that 1,000, 1,500, which is intense, because that's where they're at with what they want.
And you got to play with it, like how many drops and what the strength. And then once it takes a while, but and obviously the more concentrated, it's like anything. More concentrated, it's going to cost you more. But hey, Beach, I appreciate the time, man. We'll have you back again sometime soon. I just want to do a little kind of like a Q&A, an AMA on CBD oil and the like, since it's been such a hot issue these days, and now you kind of know what you're getting. Beach over at Hemptations, 3 locations in Cincy. Thanks again, buddy. Appreciate it.
Hey, I really appreciate it. And, let me know anytime. I'm happy to educate.
Outstanding. Thanks so much.